The forest was trembling. A band of Australopithecus afarensis small, lean bodies clothed in coarse dark hair, long arms built for climbing scrambled up the fig trees. Their bellies were tight with hunger. One female clutched a stone in her fist, knuckles white with strain, while her child clung to her ribs. A male leapt upward, gripping bark slick with morning dew, his teeth flashing as he tore into a cluster of green figs. The others followed, pulling fruit, shoving it into their mouths before it could be snatched by rivals above. The branches creaked under their weight. Somewhere below, a leopard's shadow slipped between roots. The figs were not enough. The band's hunger was a fever, and hunger made them reckless. A young male reached for an unsteady branch. It snapped. His body crashed through leaves, slamming into a tangle of vines. He landed hard, breath gone, eyes wide with shock. For a moment, silence, then the hiss of movement from the underbrush. A striped tail flicked. The leopard had been waiting. The band froze, every eye burning into the shadows below. The fallen male, stunned, clawed at the earth. It struck the predator's shoulder. The band descended in a rush, gathering around the fallen one, pressing rough hands to his chest, pulling him upright. Blood trickled from his mouth, but his breath returned. They could not stay. Driven by fear, they moved, through towering forests where shafts of gold light cut the gloom. The injured one leaned on others, limping, his breath ragged. They searched for water. By midsun they reached a river, wide and green, crawling with crocodiles. The band knelt at the bank, scooping water into folded leaves, trickling it into the mouths of the youngest. But movement churned the surface. The crocodile's jaw erupted upward, crushing a female's arm. She shrieked soundless pain, her body yanked toward the depths. The band roared not words, but primal thunder. They struck with stones. At last it released, slipping back into the current. The female's arm hung mangled, but she breathed. They dragged her onto the bank. The band circled close, pressing against her with the warmth of their bodies. Survival demanded they keep moving. They followed the river downstream, toward safer shallows where fish leapt in glittering arcs. The youngest practiced striking the water with sharpened sticks, while the older ones cracked bones of scavenged antelope with stone hammers, sucking marrow thick and greasy. For a moment, hunger eased. Children laughed high, breathless gasps as they tumbled in the grass. But the forest was never still. The air grew heavy. The wind shifted. Black clouds boiled over the canopy. A storm broke with violence. The band fled toward the caves at the edge of the hills, their injured carrying the very young on backs and shoulders. They stumbled through mud. One bolt struck a tree nearby, exploding it into fire. The band froze at the alien light, drawn yet afraid. Sparks hissed in the rain. The smell of smoke filled their lungs. The caves saved them. They huddled together in darkness, water dripping from their hair. Their bodies pressed close for warmth. The storm raged, but inside there was safety. Yet caves carried dangers of their own. A cave lion, mane wet with rain, had chosen the same refuge. Chaos erupted. The band screamed, scrambling for stones, for bones, for anything sharp. The scarred male stepped forward. He thrust it toward the lion, sparks of flame still licking at its tip. The beast snarled, swiping with claws, but the smell of fire made it hesitate. The band pressed forward together, shrieking, shaking weapons, driving the lion back into the storm. When it fled, they collapsed, gasping, hearts thundering. Fire, they understood, had power. By morning, the storm had passed, and the band emerged into a world washed clean. The wounded still lived, though weak. They moved slower now, more cautious, seeking fruit and tubers. At the savanna's edge, a rival band appeared, Australopithecus, lean and fierce, their numbers greater. The two groups locked eyes across the grasses, shoulders bristling, jaws tight. Both were hungry. Both claimed the same trees heavy with figs. The rival band advanced, brandishing stones, their bodies low and tense. The confrontation exploded in violence. Stones flew, fists struck, bodies crashed into the dust. The scarred male was struck on the head, collapsing with blood spilling into the grass. The mother with the mangled arm shielded her child with her body, teeth bared. For long minutes, survival was nothing but rage and blood. Then an unexpected break. The sky darkened again. Thunder, lightning, another storm. The rival band scattered back into the trees, unwilling to risk open ground. The survivors crouched over their fallen leader, breath shallow, eyes clouded. He would not rise again. They pressed their hands to his chest, to his face, smearing themselves with his blood. The band lifted their heads to the storm. Grief became motion. They left the body behind, following the river once more, deeper into the savanna where acacia trees scattered wide, where herds of antelope moved like rivers of muscle and horn. They stole marrow from bones lions had cracked, roots dug from the wet earth, bird eggs taken from nests. Slowly, strength returned. At last came a moment of fragile triumph. On a rise of red earth, the band gathered around a kill an antelope calf brought down not by lion or leopard, but by their own stones and sharpened sticks. They ripped the flesh with teeth, blood staining their mouths, the meat shared by all. Children clapped their hands in joy. The injured mother ate, strength flickering back into her eyes. As the sun set, the band rested together. The youngest tumbled in the dust, laughing. The scarred male's stone, once wielded in battle, was placed near the fire-scorched stick, a memory of his defiance. The injured who had nearly died in the river now smiled faintly, her child asleep across her lap. Night deepened. Stars spread above the savanna. The band pressed close, warmth against warmth, the rhythm of breath sensing into one. And in their endurance, a story was born, a legend not in words, but in scars, in the memory of fire, in the taste of marrow, in the sound of laughter echoing across the ancient dark.